For a long time, you may have believed the problem was you. Maybe you thought you were too sensitive, too emotional, too demanding, or simply not good enough. After enough criticism, blame, gaslighting, and manipulation, it becomes easy to accept responsibility for problems that were never truly yours to carry. You work harder, apologize more, and constantly try to fix yourself, hoping that if you change enough, things will finally get better. But then something shifts. It might be a conversation, a piece of information, a moment of clarity, or simply enough distance from the situation. Suddenly, you begin to see the patterns differently. Today we will talk about the moment you realize you were never the problem. So before we get started, make sure to hit that like button, also subscribe to my channel. 10. You stop blaming yourself for everything. One of the first signs that healing has begun is when you stop automatically assuming that every problem is your fault. During a narcissistic relationship, blame is often shifted onto you regardless of what actually happened. Arguments become your fault. Their bad moods become your fault. Their mistakes somehow become your responsibility. Over time, this conditioning becomes so strong that you begin blaming yourself even when there is no logical reason to do so. The moment you realize you were never the problem is often the moment you stop carrying responsibility for things that never belonged to you in the first place. 9. You see the pattern clearly. While you are living through manipulation, it can be difficult to recognize what is happening. The constant confusion keeps you focused on individual incidents instead of the bigger picture. However, as you gain distance, a pattern begins to emerge. You notice that the same problems happened repeatedly. The same arguments followed the same cycle. The same promises were broken again and again. What once seemed like isolated incidents now appears as a consistent pattern of behavior. This clarity helps you understand that the issues were never caused by a single mistake you made, but by a dynamic that existed long before you arrived. 8. You realize nothing was ever enough. Many survivors spend years trying harder. They communicate better, become more patient, make more sacrifices, and give more chances. They believe that if they can just find the right words or do the right things, the relationship will improve. Eventually, however, they recognize a painful truth: nothing was ever enough. The standards kept changing. The goalposts kept moving. Every solution created a new problem. This realization can be heartbreaking, but it is also freeing because it helps you understand that the relationship was never failing because you were not trying hard enough. 7. You remember who you used to be. Narcissistic relationships often consume so much emotional energy that people gradually lose touch with themselves. Hobbies disappear. Confidence fades. Goals get postponed. Personal interests become less important. As healing begins, many survivors start remembering who they were before the relationship took over their life. They reconnect with old passions, friendships, and dreams. This process reminds them that the person they became during the relationship was often a response to chronic stress, rather than a reflection of who they truly are. 6. You stop chasing their approval. For many people, one of the hardest habits to break is the need for the narcissist's approval. They spend years trying to earn validation, appreciation, or recognition that never fully arrives. Every compliment feels temporary. Every achievement is minimized. Every effort is overlooked. Eventually, a powerful shift occurs. You stop trying to convince them of your worth. You stop seeking permission to feel good about yourself. You begin understanding that your value does not depend on someone else's ability to acknowledge it. 5. You trust your own perspective again. One of the most damaging effects of narcissistic manipulation is the loss of self-trust. You begin questioning your memory, your emotions, and your judgment. Over time, you become less confident in your ability to understand reality. The healing process often involves rebuilding that trust piece by piece. You start listening to your instincts again. You stop dismissing your feelings. You allow yourself to believe what you see, rather than what someone else tells you to see. This renewed trust becomes the foundation for healthier decisions and stronger boundaries. 4. You understand their behavior better. As your perspective changes, you begin viewing the relationship differently. Instead of constantly analyzing your own flaws, you start examining the other person's behavior. You notice patterns of manipulation, blame shifting, control, and emotional inconsistency. You realize that many of the problems you struggled to solve were never yours to fix. This understanding does not necessarily erase the pain, but it helps explain it. The confusion starts fading because the behavior finally makes sense within a larger pattern. 3. You stop trying to fix them. Many survivors spend years believing that enough love, patience, understanding, or sacrifice will eventually change the narcissist. They become emotionally invested in helping someone who may have little interest in changing. Eventually, they realize that real change requires personal responsibility and willingness from the other person. No amount of effort can force someone to grow if they do not want to. Letting go of the responsibility to fix someone else can be one of the most liberating moments in the recovery process. 2. You recognize your own strength. For a long time, you may have focused on your mistakes, weaknesses, and failures. You may have overlooked the incredible strength it took to survive the relationship. Healing often brings a new perspective. You realize how much you endured. You recognize the resilience that kept you moving forward. You see the courage it took to question unhealthy behavior, set boundaries, or walk away. Instead of viewing yourself as broken, you begin seeing yourself as someone who survived a difficult experience and continued growing despite it. 1. You finally understand that you were never the problem. The most powerful moment in recovery often comes when you fully understand that you were never the problem. This realization does not happen overnight. It usually arrives gradually, after countless moments of reflection, learning, and healing. For years, you may have carried the belief that if you were better, smarter, more patient, more understanding, or more loving, things would have turned out differently. You may have spent endless hours analyzing conversations, replaying arguments, and searching for mistakes that could explain why the relationship felt so difficult. The assumption was always the same. If something was wrong, it must have been you. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. Before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.